Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Your online activity shouldn't be public. Protect yourself at expressvpn.com/inside.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Thursday. I'm gonna have to use my whole ass stimulus check on a PS5 Thursday.
Not a problem.
Right, so it doesn't rhyme or have any funky alliteration, but good God, you gotta hang on to that money. Don't be like me. Don't make the same mistakes I did.
What'd you spend your stimulus check on?
Candy.
Yeah, we're all about positivity here at Inside Gaming. So without further ado, here's some bad news in the world of next-gen consoles.
Despite Sony saying that the holiday release of the PlayStation 5 won't be affected by the coronavirus, a new report says that production of the console is going to be limited. It's going to cost a lot more than you think. Your firstborn.
Yeah, just last week when Sony was unveiling the new DualSense controller, Sony Interactive Entertainment president Jim Ryan, Amazon Prime's Jim Ryan, reiterated that the PS5 would launch in holiday 2020.
Yeah, but according to a new Bloomberg report, while it might actually launch this holiday season, Sony plans to produce far fewer units of its upcoming PlayStation 5 in its first year than it did for the launch of PS4.
Yeah, Sony's apparently told partners that it'll make 5 to 6 million PS5s in the fiscal year that ends in March 2021. For comparison, the PlayStation 4 sold 7.5 million units in its first 2 quarters, so that's a lot less.
What's your guys' favorite fiscal year of all time?
Oh God, I gotta go 98.
I'm gonna say Q2 90.
What was that?
98.
.com boom?
Pre.com boom. Things were
And
ramping up. People that were privy enough knew it was coming. Money started flowing. Some of those websites started to get founded, but there wasn't like the boom yet where everyone was on it, so there was still some really good money to be made early on. It was like
Actually,
to California in 1948.
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna say 2008 because I like chaos.
My favorite fiscal year was the pre-Justinian era before the fall of the Roman Empire.
My favorite best fiscal year was definitely
And he's on Wikipedia.
11/28. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's an IRS form. Okay, never mind.
Now, you might think that's because of the coronavirus, but nope. Apparently, while the coronavirus has affected Sony's marketing plans for the PS5, this limited production is due to another factor: price.
Your firstborn.
Yeah, this has been reported before, but Sony is still having problems keeping the cost of the console down, so it sounds like they're anticipating less demand, at least at the beginning.
Yeah, a few months ago, Bloomberg reported that it was costing Sony around $450 to make one PS5. Ooh. Begs the question: what's causing the cost to be so high?
It's the caviar.
It's loaded with beluga caviar. The coolant system just cycles beluga caviar.
It doesn't work at all.
It's broken out of the box, but that's what a status symbol is.
Yep. The cooling system. So it is the cooling system, is reportedly a few dollars per unit, which is more expensive than usual. But Bloomberg said that Sony went with a more expensive option to make sure that overheating is not an issue. I mean, yeah, those things get hot.
But the biggest problem, aside from the soufflés that have to be perfectly baked to go inside the hard drive, is the supply of flash memory. Both DRAM and NAND flash memory are in high demand because smartphone companies are making their next-gen devices too.
It's also the aquarium full of aquatic fish that they use for liquid cooling. Okay, so it's costing more than expected, but so what's the final price looking like? Well, we theorized in a previous video that if it cost them $450 to make, they'd mark it up a bit and sell it for, say, I don't know, $470.
Yeah, but the final cost might be a lot more than that. Bloomberg quoted developers who've been making games for the PS5, and they think its retail price is going to be more like $499 to $549. There's my hot Cheeto budget gone.
That would be super expensive for a starter console. Meanwhile, you can get a PS4 Pro for $400 and have access to a much bigger library than the PS5 will start out with.
And obviously, Sony has a good reason to be worried about the price. Remember the PS3? When it was announced as costing $600, that backfired on Sony in a big way. Ton of money. How much caviar you could get with that? Patrick, do you know?
No, I don't. How much?
You seem like a man of distinguished taste.
I am, but...
Anyway, the cost turned off a lot of people, and it was one factor that caused the PS3 to stumble out of the gate. It gave the Xbox 360 the time to shine, so maybe it's time to trade places again.
Yeah, I mean, they have been going back and forth. Plus, Sony has another big factor to consider when it sets the PS5's price. What is that, you ask?
Your firstborn.
Well, hang on a second. Buy us a drink first, or buy us a nice, juicy steak from Omaha Steaks.
Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by Omaha Steaks. Are you staying home? That's a trick question. I know you are. Maybe not a trick question. Either way, there's never been a better time than now to stock up on Omaha Steaks because they deliver the world's best steaks and a huge variety of family favorites to your door. So you don't have to leave home. That's what we're all thinking about. How do we stay in but still eat? that's important. Well, right now, the Omaha Steaks limited time stock up sale is available to our viewers to help your family stock up on the food you love. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter the code INSIDE into the search bar and unlock savings unique for our viewers. By entering the code INSIDE in the search bar, you can save more than 50% on your order and get free shipping on orders of $69 or more. What's in the box? Remember from that movie? Well, there's world-famous Omaha Steaks, naturally aged to tenderness and trimmed to perfection. There's premium poultry and pork, cut by Omaha Steaks butchers and individually sealed for freshness and flavor. There's tasty, easy-to-make side dishes. There's no-work family deals for your slow cooker or your oven, and skillet meals ready in 15 minutes or less, and artisan desserts and much, much more. Those caramel apple tartlets, oh boy! So right now, stock-up boxes are ready to ship, and you can save big. Plus, shipments of $69 or more get free shipping! So, Omaha Steaks delivers guaranteed quality and safety with every order. As you're stocking up on things you need, don't forget food you'll love. Take care of yourself. Give it a little bit of something for your stum. That's like a, I don't know, stomach, tummy? I don't know, it doesn't really matter. There's never been a better time to stock up on Omaha Steaks. The stock up sale is going on right now with ready-to-ship packages that you could save 50% or more on, and free shipping on orders of $69 or more. So visit omahasteaks.com and type INSIDE in the search bar to shop today. Thank you, Omaha Steaks. All right, so what's this mysterious X factor that Sony's waiting on to set their console price? A little hint for you there, a little foreshadowing. The price of their competition, of course. We still don't know how much the Xbox Series X will cost, and you can bet that Sony does not want to be above that mark.
Some people are speculating that both companies could be forced to sell their consoles at a loss, at least at first. Damien Thong, an analyst at Macquarie Capital, is quoted as saying, "I think both the PS5 and Xbox Series X may end up at $450, even though they would lose money at that price."
For now, Sony still plans on releasing the PS5 this holiday season, and it's unlikely to delay it, especially as long as Microsoft plans on putting out the Xbox Series X this year. Nobody wants to let the other guy be the first one out of the gate.
But there's no doubt that Sony is expecting to sell fewer PS5s at first than it did with the PS4. To cope with that, Bloomberg said their strategy will be to rely on incumbent PS4 models as a bridge to get new users onto the PlayStation platform's network services while the PS5 remains in limited supply. It's a strand console, the first of its time.
Yeah, they might even cut the price of the PS4 and the PS4 Pro at the time of the PS5's launch to try and get more people on their subscription services. That would be PS Plus and PS Now.
Yeah, these days it's all about getting people to subscribe to your ecosystem and pay 10 to 15 bucks a month. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has talked about that a lot too, and it's clear that the console makers view subscriptions as extremely vital going forward, especially as cloud gaming just gets bigger and bigger. Bloated industry, that cloud gaming.
But for now, hardware is still important. As for the PS5, Bloomberg says that suppliers have started to deliver components for the console, and mass production is supposed to start by June.
Yeah, and production still could be affected depending on the status of the coronavirus. Bloomberg says that Sony has asked people to work from home, like a lot of employers are doing, including ours.
Yeah, but they said its board has been unable to approve business plans for the current fiscal year, including those for the PlayStation. So it sounds like things are kind of still a bit up in the air. George Clooney.
Anna Kendrick.
Is that a ladies movie?
Woman's movie.
Oh, okay.
Love George Clooney. Big fan.
Meanwhile, while production hasn't been affected, at least not yet, Sony's marketing plans for the PS5 definitely have been. According to Bloomberg, Sony was forced to reveal the new controller in a hurried fashion last week, and they might skip holding a public press conference for the PS5's release date and price.
And of course, we haven't seen the actual machine yet either. It's only a small group of people within Sony who know what it looks like, but who knows? They could hold a little quickie event, could show us. The longer they don't show us the machine, the longer I just keep picturing a bedpan.
For now, though, the most important thing for Sony is to get the price of this thing right. If it retails for $550, that might be a really tough sell these days.
Yeah, unemployment in the US is skyrocketing, and it's not a good situation elsewhere in the world either, so lots of people might decide to hold off on a big purchase like a new console. Sony is clearly aware of that, which explains why they're having so much trouble setting the price. If it's too high, they might scare people away, but if it's too low, they're gonna lose money.
And here's where Microsoft might have an advantage. They're a much bigger company than Sony. Sony's still not a small company by any means, but maybe Microsoft decides to play hardball and drastically discount the price of the Xbox Series X because they can afford to take a big old loss.
Xbox is $25.
So let's say it's $100 cheaper than the PS5. That would be a huge consideration for a lot of people, both gamers on a budget and parents deciding which console to buy their kid for the holidays.
So that's what we know at this point. Jim Ryan has said they're going to share more info about the PS5, including what it looks like in the coming months. But as of right now, it doesn't sound like they're going to announce the price anytime soon, and that might be the biggest decision that Sony has to make.
And before we head out for the day and leave you to another 12 hours of doing the same thing you've done for the past month, we'd like to make a quick shout out to our Rooster Teeth friends, Gus Cirola and Chris Damaris. They launched a new podcast today called Black Box Down. It is a true crime podcast, but here's a little twist, a little bit of lemon on top of that. It centers around major aviation accidents, which is pretty cool. So you can listen to Black Box Down by searching for it wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you're already a white knuckle flyer like me, make sure you listen to it while you're waiting in line to board your next flight.
We still haven't gotten a look at the PlayStation 5, but Sony has finally showed us something that's even more important. Its controller.
Yeah, while the box might get a lot of attention, it's the controller that we spend the most hands-on time with. Much like we've been spending a lot of hands-on time with ourselves during this quarantine.
Nice.
Okay.
We're talking jacking.
Talking about jacking.